Okay, so next part of the build is we've got the legs, which are now all fully assembled, and we've got the top and bottom skins on. But a part that we've not touched yet are the parts for the ankle. So we'll build up the ankle, and then we'll get into how we go about skinning the outside part of the leg. So I'll set that up and we'll get going. Okay, so I'll try and build it up this way around so you can see what it is we're actually doing. There's a number of pieces that are going to slot together. The first part I would mention is this piece, which is going to go part of the ankle. However, because of the way that it's actually constructed, instead of having a massive thick piece of styrene to actually see and see, they've cut a small recessed slot out there. If you want, you can get it so that it'll fit perfectly flush inside, but all you're trying to do is get it so that you've got the detail piece there. And then when we build the ankle up, there's a slot for that to go into, so we'll bond that in place with some ME. And we've got these pieces, so we've got two of the rounded pieces and they're exactly the same, and then we've got three pieces that go in the middle. The larger one, because of the curvature of the ankle, that's going to fit in into the middle, and as I say, see the little cut out piece there, that's to allow that piece to sit inside it. So we'll just offer them up, click them in place. This one should be fairly snug, but there we go. Again, make sure you've took all the little bits of plastic off, or else when you come to glue these up they're not going to bond. And then likewise, these pieces are just going to slot in there. This is wiggle, there we go. And then the top piece goes on there and fits in a couple of little slots in the back. So you're starting to see the curvature of the ankle that we're going to be putting the skins on. And likewise, your kit comes with this, so that's going to sit on there like that. And this piece, once it's had that bonded on the back of it, will sit on there, and you won't be able to see inside that. So for the moment, what we'll do is I'll pause the video and I'll glue it all up. One thing that we'll have to do once it's all glued is, because we're going to bond this in place, you've actually got the corners are still on these tabs. So we'll take a file and just round them off, just so it's nice and smooth. So I'll glue all that in place, and then we'll get on to skinning the rest of the outside part of it. So I'll film it while I glue it, but you're probably bored of seeing gluing right now. So we've got this piece all bonded in now, detail piece at the back there, all the ribs are all bonded in, as are these moon shaped pieces. All we've got to do is just take the corners off these now, just so we've got a smooth edge. So it doesn't need a lot. Now, one of the things that you can do as you go around your build is you will accumulate just little offcuts of styrene. When you're going to put the skins on the outside part of it, there's not a great deal for them to actually bond to. So what you can do is offer that there, and if you want to, you can put additional pieces of styrene just to give it something else to bond to on the side there. I find if you've got a good coating on these parts, not too much that it's going to soak through and distort it, but if you've got a good coating of it and it's held in all the way along there, it's held on all along here, don't really need it, but it's up to yourselves. Put that piece in, just file it down so you've got that chamfer on the side of it. and then that'll be ready to go on that. But won't put that piece on until we've started skinning all the rest of it. So what I'll do now is I'll lay this up with all the skins. We'll go through all the pieces that are going to go for skinning the legs, the process that we'll use on that, how we trim some of the parts into place, and then we'll get up to skinning it. So these are all the parts that we've now got laid out, which are going to skin the leg. Obviously you've got exactly the same for the other leg. I've already mentioned that piece which is going to go and cover the front part of the ankle, so I'll put that to one side for a moment. That's one of the last ones that I tend to put on. And what I work down from is the under shoulder details, follow it down, so they're the under shoulder detail pieces. Follow it down with these pieces, which are going to go in here, and you've got a small piece which goes under there, longer pieces which go onto this part here, and then you've got a piece which is going to go, it covers just this little gap, and then you'll have two of these in the kit. Now be careful you don't use, there's a longer one which is for the centre ankle. The way that you'll notice the right one is if you fold it over, it'll sit just flush on where that point is there, which this piece is going to finish on, and then when you fold it over there, it should just about touch on the other side, a little bit to trim off on it. And then we've got a detail piece here which is going to go underneath just the skin under there. Same on the other side, and then you've also got these two pieces, the ankle bracelets, which will slide it in. Now once you've skinned it, you're going to have to file these back just ever so slightly, just so that it sits over the top of the skin, because it's snug like that and that's not without it skinned, so just a little bit of filing back on it. And likewise you'll have a piece at the back that will go on. Once you've filed them down flush enough, they should meet fairly squarely at the back. If you don't get them to fully align, then all you can do is just put a little bit of filler in. It's at the back of the ankle, you wouldn't notice it. Again, always make sure you took the plastic off. I've done all of them, but obviously not. So we'll start with some of the kit you're going to need. File, a good broad flat file is ideal. It doesn't need to be a particularly sharp one like an old one's enough to knock this back. Your choice of Stanley knife, so either a lockable blade or a craft knife. We're not intending to actually cut through the styrene. What you're going to do is score it and then snap it. Well, ideally you do one score and snap, you get a clean snap. I've got a bit of a bad habit of doing a couple of scores, as you'll see. Now this is the point at which you're going to start chopping fingers off and things like that, so don't use a wooden ruler. One, you can dig into the ruler as you're doing the scores and you'll have a curved line, and two, you can come straight through it. So a good steel ruler is essential for it. So we're going to be using the dichlorometer again, so the same PPE standards applies for that. And likewise we're going to be using lots of masking tape to hold the skins in place. Now if you've got a lot of clamps, you can use clamps, but I'd just be very mindful that you're going to be putting the ME on, and these are really thin, they're only 1 mil thick. If you've got a bit of ME in the back of there and you compress it, you'll actually squash and you'll have an indentation. Now this stuff is perfectly fine for filling, sanding, and you recover from it, but you're just making a bit of work for yourself. The only other part that we will be putting on are these, which are the skins to go over the top of the shoulders. Now because of the length of them and the fact that once you've got it bonded in place, what it's going to want to do is spring back. What you typically do is do one half, make sure it's fully bonded, and then do the other half. Again, if you've got wide joinery clamps that will go over the whole width of the shoulder, you could use them, but just be very careful, because these are the parts that are on show on the droid, and typically you're not painting them. If you're doing an R2D2, you want them to be nice and flush and white, unless you're going to be weathering it, and then you can go for hell for leather and do what you like. So the parts are going to need trimming, and what I start with is the top under shoulder detail. The important part on this piece is that what you want is this to sit just ever so slightly overhanging, just so that when you put your under shoulder detail in, it sits nice and snug. You don't want millimetres over there, but just so you're not quite seeing where this piece is, that's where you're going to be bonding it to. So what you're going to be looking at doing is getting it on, and what I'll do is put a piece of tape in just to hold it in place while you get it all aligned. You're going to end up with tape all over the place, but it's good for holding it. So put it on, make sure it's where you want it to be, quite central. Put a bit of tape across, and likewise do the same on the other side. Tape in, make sure it's nice and square, just ever so slight lip, as I find best. And then what you're going to do is fold these parts. It's probably one of the few bits that you're not going to score particularly to mark it up, but if you run your finger down until you get a nail right in the corner, and the same with that one, right the way down into the corner. Use the back of a knife if you wanted to, just to get it to any crease in there. Likewise with that one. There we go. And then we'll take it off, score it and snap it. I mean, you could just slice through it there if you wanted to, but if it starts moving, you're going to end up with a piece that you're going to end up having to fill. So we've got those bent pieces that we can see where we want to do the cut. Take your steel ruler, push it down where you want the actual cut to be. Takes quite a bit of pressure just to hold that in place, and just slice it. Okay. And likewise with that one, slice. And you should be able to just snap them off. Nice clean snap. Nice clean snap. If you do find it's not quite square, you can always just knock the edge back just a little bit. There we're fine. So we can offer that back up again, and you will be proud at the top of this part. It is sticking up. We'll put the skin on there and then we sand that flat. So that's where we're going to be happy with that piece. So we're good with that one. A little bit of tape on just to hold it in place so we know where it is. And likewise for that piece there. And you will notice the wider as well. Give yourself a couple of millimetre either side, or a millimetre really, because you'll be filing that to get them nice and flush. So don't try and trim that now. You're going to bond them on and then we'll sand all that back. So your next piece, as you can see, there's a cutout recess inside here, and this is what we're trying to marry up this piece. So that's it. They are slightly oversized, so where you've just finished cutting on there, you can see that is what we're going to mark as the cut for that piece, and then we'll offer that piece in there so it's just sat inside, and we'll mark that as the cut for that piece. Okay, well, they're probably not enough to be able to snap it, so we'll just go back over that, and that's where this could go slightly, so it's not quite as neat. So score, score, and then snap. So there's a little bit left on there, and that's probably because I've scored it twice. You're being quite particular when it's like this level, right? So you just knock that off and drop it. There we go. So that's that piece that's going to sit in there and it's just covering that detail. So we'll put a little bit of tape on just to hold it for this one, because what we've now got to do is, on the bottom of the ankle, not all the way around the leg, sorry, there's this engraved section. So we've already filed the little bits of the supports, the internal structure down, so you've got the groove. But what we need to do is mark on the skin where that groove actually sits, so that we can slice it off. So again, use the outline of the groove to mark where you want it on that side, and likewise mark it on that side there. Take it off again. So you're going to go through a lot of tape. One on there. And score it. Again, my bad habit of doing a couple of scores. So one line, and then it should, as you work your way along it, snap quite cleanly. So there you go, there's a fairly clean. That should sit just on that line there. Nicely aligned with the skins. Perfect. Just hold that in place. So now coming down, we've got that piece which is going to go there, these pieces which go underneath, and you'll have a piece that's that size. Likewise, this one's oversized for where that piece is going to go. Now you can use a ruler if you want to measure that distance, because it is all going to be covered by these ankle details, so even if you're out by a couple of mil. But it's as easy as we did with that one, just mark where the ankle is, sorry, where the groove is, mark where the groove is, score it. And snap it. You can put the edge that you've just scored and snap, put that towards the bottom so you've got a nice clean line. There we go, more tape. Now this big piece here is going to finish on where we've got this the chamfer section, but you'll notice that these two pieces here have not got the chamfer on. So get your file. Yours will sit a lot more flush than that. You can see a gap on mine. This was a prototype piece and it wasn't cut quite right. So we know that's where we're going to be having our join, and we know we're going to skin down on this part here. So let's move that back so you can see a bit. There we go. So yeah, that'll sit there. Again, it's overhanging quite a bit. It's good to have a piece that's hanging a bit more over where this shoulder is. Sorry, where the ankle is, because your skin can sit up against it as well, and you can bond the two and then sand that portion. So we're going to mark where the top of this sits, which is there. Across. Score and snap again. across. We're going to file that bit, so it's worth putting that piece down there. And let's go. That's good. I'll just take that just to hold it. So we're now looking at this piece, which is going to do exactly the same. Butt it up so it's up square with that. And we're going to have a look at how far across here it is. Now, this piece is going to come all the way to there. So the piece that you're actually looking to cut is going to fill that part. It's a bit difficult to work out where it's going to sit all the way over there, but you can use the top of your skin that you've just cut. So, up there, we've got it. See where your two skins are overlining. Little nick. Pull it back a touch. See where your two skins are overlining. Little nick. I'll just cross check that because the little section I've got there looks a lot lower on one side, so it may well be that as I've moved it. Put that. Sits okay there. It's okay there. Flush on the bottom. No, that's right. So it must just be ever so slightly pulled to one side, but that's the beauty of how you're going to be doing this, is you're going to stick them all on and then you're going to file these all back with the flush edge, so if it has run off ever so slightly compared to top to bottom, it'll pull in once you actually sand the bottom. It's not. Clean up a little bit if need be. That's going to go in there like that. Sounds good. So I'll tape again. Now for this next part, this is where we're going to put it on. There's not a lot of trimming that you need to do for this bit because we're going to glue it in place. And then when it's properly, fully bonded, we'll form it right the way around the outside here and tape that into place. At the moment, if you try and do it, as you can see it's there, it'll just bob off. So we'll just tape that piece in place. Just as a placeholder really for that one. So that's one side done. We'll just quickly whiz over and do the other side. As I say, just offer it up, a little bit of tape. In place like that. So that's all our leg skins parts done, with the exception of the top, where we're going to do the over the top of the shoulder. Well, you're best off waiting until you've put all these pieces on before you do that. So I'll get the gear on again and I'll start bonding these in place. Now it's a bit of a fine line that you're going to play, because you don't want to put too much ME on that it starts to warp or melt the skin, but you do need enough on for it to actually adhere and bond. So I work quite quickly, add quite a bit to the inside faces because you're not going to see them, and as you come to the outside, just a small amount, because you can go back round later and put a bead in, sand it flush, but if you put too much on now, then you're going to be doing a lot of filling and sanding. Okay, so it's had a good 10-12 hours for this to all set now. It's pretty solid, it's not going to come off. We need to now form this over the ankle. We'll just mark it so we know where we're going to be cutting it. Just snap. A bit tricky, but lay it flat on something. Just scroll it. Just snap that. And then that'll fold over. On there, it's pretty much what you need it to be. So we'll take that inside, and then we've got same with this piece. Now what you need to do for these bits here, they've got to have been slightly browed. So just take a file and slowly file it till they're flush. If they are really long, you can score the back of it and snap it off. Depends where you set that. That's that one. Now what you're going to be doing with these is going to be two skins. There's going to be two skins on it. So bring it right the way over. Same as what we've just done. Front there, and the mark off. Just where it overlaps. Same on that side. There we go. And then we need to trim this off. Bit fiddly. Snap. There's quite tough. And it is got to overhang, so you can be going over that a little bit just to file it flush. So that's that for that one. That one there needs gluing down. And the next part's going to be sanding all these back, and then the last part I do is put the ankle on there. So I'll glue these up. I'll do the other leg as well, and we can progress from there. Okay, so we're now at the point where we've taken all the tape off. We've got the skins for the shoulders are now all bonded in place, as are the pieces for around the bottom of the ankle. What we're now going to do is put the second layer of skin on for the ankle, for the shoulder, sorry. So it's pretty much exactly the same as you just did last time. Layer the two of them up. We're going to file this part down so that it's chamfered, and then we'll bond that all the way in there. This is the only piece that needs the second layer on it, so don't need to worry about any of the other parts. And once that's bonded in place, we'll start filing this back. So I'll just get my kit on, and we'll glue this one in place. Okay, here's a good example as to why we're putting a second skin on. Not sure if you can quite pick it up on the camera there, but what we've actually got is a very small crease over one of the ribs. So when we put the skin on the top of that, I'll actually smooth out that curve and you won't see it. So that's one of the reasons why Frank has done this. So you've got the two skin version. So I'll go ahead with bonding this on. We'll cover that piece up. Just notice from these parts here, I've just sanded that nice and flush. Okay, so skins now for the shoulders. We've got the two layers that are on there, and now what we've got to do is all these little ledges and lips that we've got all the way around, we're sanding them flush. Now what you can do if you're brave enough is use a deburring tool. So if you've got parts which are difficult to actually get into, you can take the bulk of the actual material back with that and then finish it off with a file. But I would say, as best as you can, take your time doing it. The other part is obviously we've bonded these parts onto the to the frame, but we've tried to use as small as possible. the amount that's actually on the contact surface on the edge. So this is the bit where you're going to find where you've got any bits which are flapping around. So you might still need a little bit of ME just to run a little bead of it in there, hold it in place. Hopefully your main the main panel is well adhered. All it is just you've not got quite enough on the edge. The other thing to do is obviously you don't want to be pushing your panel off when you're filing it. So you're best, if you're going to be filing it, file it in towards the frame, taking a bit off at each time until you start to the point where you'll see there's like a melted like furry bead of styrene which is starting to go across, and you'll come down to the point where you're on. Here, I'll just use that to take that off. Just to get see, it's come away again on that little bit there for some reason. Must be. So I'm going to bond the skin to that, so I'm not overly bothered about that coming away a little bit. It is all cosmetic, it's not structural. Now, the bits where we've got the overhang for the under shoulder details, that's where we've left it long. You can just fold it over like that, wiggle, get it to snap off. Then we're going to be sanding that flush anyhow. So keep going. I've noticed the piece has popped off, so I'm going to have to sort that. So what I'll do is stick that on. again. So you don't want this open and exposed too long. You just want to bead it on there. Hold a wee breath. That's better. So we'll won't touch that bit just for now. Just carry on down here. Make sure this is all flush. Looks like it is. So we've got that bit to come back to. It still looks alright. Flip it all over and start again. That's not too bad. We'll just knock that there because that's the pieces that are glued up. Good. That's any of the marks that you've got on there. Once you've put a coat of primer on it, sanded that flat, then obviously your horseshoes are going to go over all of this. So hopefully now that we've got that on there, with the 2 layers of skin, it's exactly the same size as your horseshoe, which is good. So last couple of bits that we need to do are these ankle bracelets, which are going to slot over there. Now I say they were snug when it comes to putting them on without the skin on. And then we've got another 3 mil, 1.5 on each side. It. Now you're not going to bond those in just yet because you're going to probably paint them a different colour. So for the moment, just put them somewhere safe. And likewise, now you've got your dimensions, you just need to open the piece out that's going to go on the back. So the bit that we're going to do now is get this piece in place and formed all the way along. Lots of tape for this one. You've only got some small contact areas for it to actually bond to, which is why I'm just gluing that to make sure that sticks. You can put a couple of pieces at the side to give you a bit more to go to if you want, but I've not really found the need to. It's pretty well fitted, and you're going to be sanding the sides down once it's all glued in place. Okay, so we're now getting to the final stages. I've finished one part on it, and I'll just have a quick run through of the bits that still need to be finished on this one. So I'll put this to one side for the moment. So the only parts that you're going to be looking to do now is just to tidy up the edges that you've got on the ankle. So same as what you did with all of the other edges, you're just going to go over it all with a file. Make sure you get it now nice and flush. Now you don't want to take loads off this. Don't start coming back on this because you've only got a very small contact surface. So you want to just be knocking it back flush until you just get the point. Switch its nice on there. So you carry on all the way around on that. This one's been sat quite back, so there's not a great deal to knock off on there. And then you've just got the same to do on the sides. Again, there's not a great deal of contact points. You might have put your little strip inside there so it's sticking. So you're just knocking it back. And if you do start seeing that it's come away, just stop, put a bit of ME in. It's bonded. Quite a bit on that, so if you're brave enough you can use your deburrer to take it right the way down. Well, there we go. Finally. Job done.